Good morning. It's roughly 7:30 in the morning on the 10th of April. Lovely start to the day down at Wheeler's Bay. Just going to have a quick walk a little way along, going east towards Monk's Bay. I'm only going to go a little way. Oh, there's a dunnock. See if there's any birds around. It would definitely be rude not to have a walk on a morning like this. I'm sure you'll agree. This little area of blackthorns is very popular with migrant birds feeding up. Can't see much in there. Lovely and calm after a few days of inclement weather, but it's about to change again. I think midday today, big belt of rain is going to come through. And I think it might be raining for the rest of the summer. Or is it the next day or two? Can't remember, one of the two. So what are my tasks for today? I'm still sorting out a mother-related thing, landslip-related thing. So I'll carry on sorting that out. And yeah, and writing. Really need to. I've kind of neglected the writing a little bit of late because I've had some other stuff to sort out. But I need to get back into that. Yeah, so writing, I need to try to get back to writing at least 2,000 words a day, which I normally write using voice to text, which is a fast way of writing. So built into the operating system on the phone is this voice to text facility, so you can literally just walk along speaking into your phone as if you're making a phone call, but you're actually doing the first draft of a book or a blog post or whatever you happen to be writing, and it's far quicker doing it that way than typing, because you can speak a lot more quickly than you can type, generally speaking. And the voice recognition software that comes free in your mobile phone is just so good these days. The accuracy is so high. I switch off the automatic punctuation thingy capability because that isn't very good yet. It may have got better now. I switched it off about a year ago, so you should imagine it's got a bit better. But I put in the punctuation, which means I have to say comma and carry on speaking, full stop, that kind of stuff. So when I have to put commas in and exclamation marks and all that sort of stuff, but it recognises those when you're doing voice to text, which is really good. So yeah, I can normally get 1,500 words done written pretty easily in a couple of hours in the morning. Back in the day, a couple of years ago, when I was really powering on, I could get up to 3,000 or 4,000 words done in a morning quite easily. It's dried up a little bit since then, which is slightly worrying because I need to get more books written. Sorry, I forgot to mention the Seapot Cafe, just over beyond that little building there, a little boathouse type building. Do go and visit that cafe, because if you're on the islands, because it's in Wheeler's Bay, because the footfall has dropped right off, which is a shame. Hopefully it should improve now this path between Wheeler's Bay and Bonchurch is reopened. But yeah, they've got some catching up to do, I would have thought, to get the footfall back up. And hopefully the path We'll go and look up there in a minute, but the path leading west back into Ventnor, as in the coastal path, will be reopened soon. I love these rock pools here when the tides are really low, and it's springs at the moment, so the tide does go out a long way. These rock pools that are exposed are just absolutely superb, but I always forget about exploring them. And the water is really murky at the moment. We're quite close to the landslip. I had the massive landslip a month or two ago, 2 or 3 months ago, whenever it was. So the water is really, really muddy. I'm only going to go a little way up here. My voice is a bit croaky. Very croaky. So I just wanted to have a quick look at these cliff falls that have occurred along here, due primarily to the very wet winter we've had. Hopefully you can hear that rain, it's incredibly loud. And this little sallow bush, he's stopped now and pointed the camera at him. Has moved down there. That may be a different one actually. Gonna sing again? Doesn't want me stopping here. Very loud wren. So yeah, the chalk along here, I think it's partly because it's been so wet and partly because they've been doing some cliff top building work over there, which has kind of shaken up the chalk, which is never a good thing with friable chalk, because you tend to get these kind of cliff falls when that happens. So superficially you might think this is not good for wildlife that lives like the Glanville fritillaries live on these slopes, but quite the opposite is true. These kind of chalk falls are very good for the kind of the most specialised kind of rarer wildlife that lives along here. They need this disturbance, or these patches of disturbance, because you've got very mature vegetation there which supports one lot of creatures. And then you've got the early successional habitat that develops on this bare chalk, which supports a different group of creatures. So if you want the diversity, if you want a different, wide range of species of butterflies and bees and kind of beetles, insects of various sorts, then you want both very mature vegetation, that grassy sward, and the bare ground that's gradually revegetating. The more diverse your plant communities, the more diverse your insect communities, and we all know that insects are good for pollinating stuff on our allotments and in our gardens. And some of the insects, like the wasps that people don't like, they're really... Oh, there's a willow warbler. Things like wasps are really important predators, so they eat all the green fly and caterpillars and that. So wasps are actually really good, even though they buzz around us. And if we try and whack them, they'll sting us. Wasps, actually, in nature, are a very important group of species, and there's hundreds of species of wasps. Nice sign. What about the Glanville fritillary butterflies? Doubt you can hear that willow warbler, but I think he's over there somewhere. It's only the second one I've had this spring. Stop singing. So this little compound area has been created for the marsh fritillary butterflies. It's kind of a little nature reserve for them. So yeah, I think the reason they put this little fenced area up is because the nutrients from the dog poo and dog wee kind of enriches the soil, which is bad news for the Glanville fritillary butterflies. They like soil without lots of nutrients, so the dog poo is not good for Glanville fritillaries. And it's just an undisturbed area as well, because the Glanville fritillaries have their webs. The caterpillars live in webs over winter, and it just gets trampled in the spring. So there's loads of dogs running all over the grass where the Glanville fritillary caterpillars are and the webs are. They tend to get squashed and crushed, which is bad news. So they created a little fenced area to discourage the dogs running all over it, and that helps the butterflies. Big chunk of chalk come down there. So the food plant of the Glanville fritillary butterfly, if you pause where I videoed that sign, it will tell you this, but the food plant is ribwort plantain, of which there's loads here. That's ribwort plantain. That's the food plant of Glanville fritillary butterfly caterpillars, and they live. The ribwort plantain lives on this open chalky scree. That's why these kind of scree slopes of disturbed chalk are really good for, well, they're good for ribwort plantain, which is a grass, and in turn that's good for Glanville fritillary caterpillars, because that's what they eat. And we all like to have lots of Glanville fritillary butterflies on the wing, so the more caterpillars we have feeding on lots of ribwort plantain, the more butterflies you're going to see in May, June, July, August time. Right, I'm only going to go to the end of this little fenced Glanville Fritillary Nature Reserve and then walk back again. That wren is so loud, I don't know if you can hear it. Right, this is as far as I'm going to go this morning along here. There is another video. I'll try and link it at the end of this video, link to it, which I did yesterday, which is the Bonchurch end down there. But for now, so watch that video if you want to. For now, I'm going to go and have a look at Wheelers Bay Coastal Defences again. I looked at that a couple of days ago. Have another look today. Yeah, do subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and press the like button. God, it's so beautiful this morning. Even these little puddles, it's kind of semi-saline, so it's a bit salty, this puddle. And even that supports kind of a different group of invertebrates that don't like fresh water and don't like pure salt, you know, seawater. So even these little semi-saline puddles are important for wildlife, believe it or not. Let's go down towards Wheelers Bay. Tell me if you know this area, if you've visited the Isle of Wight and Ventnor and Bonchurch. And also tell me in the comments if there's a particular area you'd like me to do a video on. So somebody's asked for me to look at the Ventnor Botanical Gardens, which I will do soon. Somebody else asked for Steep Hill Cove, which I will do soon. Somebody commented that it was nice to see a video somewhere where I don't normally go, which was Bonchurch Village. So I'll make sure I do more videos beyond the typical Ventnor and Wheelers Bay sort of videos. So I'll try and vary my walks a bit. Got quite a lot on, so I need to do some work between times as well. But yeah, thanks everyone who's supported me on buymeacoffee.com. That's incredibly appreciated. Yeah, people are being really generous. Can't guarantee I'm always going to buy coffee with the money, although I normally do, because I'm kind of saving up for a gimbal so I can stop bobbing up and down when I'm doing these recordings. So hopefully I'll get one of those soon, and that'll improve the video quality. So I'm going to do some videos of the rock pools at some point as well, as spring emerges and the weather improves. There's lots and lots of life in those rock pools, which I've never done a video on, so I need to do that. Just the seaweeds are pretty spectacular along here, or along the whole of the undercliff. So this time of year the ospreys are going to be coming in offshore. I've still not had one yet so far this spring. Other people have. So I think there's been one along the military road, flew in off the sea. So ospreys you may be aware, used to be largely confined to Lochgarten Nature Reserve and RSPB Nature Reserve in Scotland. But in more recent decades, they've reintroduced them to Rutland Water in, where's Rutland Water? Leicestershire, is it? No. I don't know. Which county is Rutland Water in? Rutland, probably. Tell me in the comments section. But they reintroduced them there, which was highly successful. So a big artificial reservoir, Rutland Water. And now they're reintroducing them to Poole Harbour. Well, Roy Dennis Foundation primarily, and the birds of Poole Harbour. So we'll have ospreys. They're basically a sea eagle. No, they're not. They're a bird of prey that catches fish out in marine waters and on freshwater lakes as well. So they're reintroducing those to Poole Harbour, which is obviously the other side of the Solent from the Isle of Wight. So we're seeing them increasingly on the Isle of Wight. They don't nest here, but they will do. Give it probably less than a decade, and they'll maybe not less than a decade. Give it a decade, and they'll be nesting. So here's the Teapots Cafe. Do visit this place if you come down here. It's a lovely little cafe. So it is open at this time of year. Not quite yet, because it's only approaching 8 in the morning. But yeah, really nice little cafe. So yeah, back to the ospreys. So they head out offshore into Poole Harbour, and they're catching fish, things like mullet, flatfish, I don't know, flounders I suppose, and plaice. I don't know what flatfish you get in the Solent. I used to do a lot of fishing, sea fishing, but I've forgotten everything now. But yeah, so if you go to America, go to Florida or something, there's ospreys everywhere. They're very, very common bird of prey, and hopefully they'll be very common in southern England soon. Won't be that soon, because it takes a long time for them to recover their populations. Just heading round here to check out the sea defences. And obviously we've got a white-tailed eagle, or white-tailed sea eagle as they're sometimes called. So white-tailed eagles are massive. They're described as flying barn doors by some people, which is pretty apt, because they're very broad wings and they kind of soar overhead. Very rarely here. I don't often see them around Ventnor, unfortunately, even though they are being released on the Isle of Wight. Because white-tailed eagles are so huge, the island is only big enough for one territory really, or maybe two territories, probably only one ultimately. So really the Isle of Wight is a launch pad for white-tailed sea eagle to colonise southern England and Wales and kind of northern England. And the ones that are being released on the Isle of Wight, obviously released as juveniles at fledging age. They wander far and wide for the first 2 or 3 years of life. So the ones from the Isle of Wight went up to Scotland, and some went on to the continent as far as Poland and Germany, which is very cool. But that's perfectly natural. That's what they do as juveniles. They're basically on backpacking trips. This is a this bit of plastic's a bit worrying. It's clearly moved quite a bit. Yeah, it's just where somebody's trodden on it, I think. These little plastic gauges are designed to measure how far these slabs are moving. There's a perpetual puddle. So it's hard at work. They've probably been working down here since about 6 in the morning, these guys. They're doing a brilliant job. So there's the new sheet piling's been put in to protect the old defences, gradually backfilling with concrete. Anyway, head back, I think. Must be pretty solid under these defences that they've stayed up, they haven't collapsed. So yeah, the white-tailed eagles, they wander far and wide once they're released, and then by about year 3 or 4 they basically mature in eagle years, and they're ready to start to think about settling down into a territory. So they are territorial, although in winter they'll group, juveniles will get together in groups. So I should imagine in a decade white-tailed eagle will be pretty much a fixture of the Solent region. So there's lots and lots of really good wetlands in the Solent. They're like the ospreys, basically they catch fish. It's one of their favourite prey items. They also in winter will catch, well, any time of year really, will catch geese, feral geese, Canada geese. Got lots of feral geese on the Solent, but also Brent geese when they arrive in the winter. White-tailed eagle will predate those. Sounds pretty grim, but it is if you're a Brent goose, but it's how these things work. And they'll also hunt ducks, things like widgeon and teal. Really though, they are specialised to eat fish, particularly in winter here when they go offshore from blackgang. Although I've not seen that the last winter or two, but they did it a lot in the first couple of years. Just went offshore from blackgang, a kilometre or two, and hunted for sea fish. It's a great little patch of cover here around Ventnor holiday villas for migrating birds. They get up into these sycamores. All I can hear is a blackcap singing. The willow warbler we had earlier is probably the only new migrant I'm going to see down here today. And there's something up there. No, that's a robin. There's a dunnock. Gone into cover. What a cracking day. Take the microphone off, see if you can hear the birds better. Don't know if that's made any difference at all, really. Right, I think I'm going to head back to the car. Hope you enjoyed the little walk around Wheelers Bay. Again, do subscribe if you've not already done so, and check out some of my other videos. I'll remember to link to one at the end of this little video. And there's playlists where there's lots of videos all put together of around a theme. There's the old Holm Oak woodland up there. Ventnor radar station. And there's Flea